everyone, my name is Pia and I've been a student for the freelancing course and web design course under FBA Online Academy. So my experience before being a freelancer and virtual assistant is related to reporting and analytics. I work as a reports analyst and I also have a background in real estate since I worked as a real estate agent beforehand. The reason why I wanted to go home-based is the pandemic. Even though we're taking care of our own safety, it's not really safe to go outside and of course to earn more since I want to have more savings and investment while working at the comfort of my home. I chose FBA because the feedbacks from the students of FBA is really helpful in choosing them since I've been seeing a lot of them being successful as a freelancer in their own niche. The courses that I chose was really helpful for me because it gave me an insight on what I was lacking and also it gave me more strength on the skills that I already have. It enhanced me and also it gave me confidence to talk to clients even though I'm a newbie in the industry. I would really recommend FBA, especially for the newbie in the industry, since I know the first-hand experience on how well the coaches did and how it turned out to be for me. FBA is offering not only courses, but also apprenticeship would also be helpful for your portfolio as well as for your client search. Before, when I was starting, I really don't have any clients. I was having trouble on getting a client, but after having my courses and after having my portfolio ready, I was able to ace clients easily and I was able to offer myself confidently to my clients, which is why I was able to have clients back to back, especially with the web design. So the only thing that I want to share with anyone who wants to start their freelancing career or even their virtual assistance career is that have the grit and the passion in you. In the industry, you would encounter hundreds of rejections before you would even be able to get one client. And having grit is really important because it's what fuels you on how you would get the client, on how you would be aggressive in selling yourself, and also it would help you a lot if you're passionate about what you're doing. Don't just think about the money that you would earn. That's really just an additional. But if you're enjoying what you're doing and you're passionate about it, you won't really think that you're working. And I hope to see you all succeed in this freelancing industry.
All right, there you go. Thanks, Pia, for introducing us. So, we are here for this topic right here, real estate virtual assistance property valuations. Okay, so let me just go ahead and introduce and jump into our topic and then introduce our speaker who's just beside me. So, this is the real estate virtual assistance. So, what we're doing here is talk about how you can earn from home through this niche because this is very in demand. A lot of people are actually transitioning to this one, and a lot of people also are coming in and hiring virtual assistants, especially on property valuations.
Yeah.
How much do you think, Coach, are clients asking per BPO?
Well, I know for now, per BPO, VAs, you mean VAs are asking $10 per BPO. If you're not paid by the hour, if you're not doing the Upwork time or any time managing platform, and you're being paid by order per BPO, so you get $10 at least each valuation. So and then for the day, I think you're getting 5 to 10 valuations. You
So
know,
it's like 50.
yeah, so you get like 50 a week if you're working from Mondays to Friday. But if you work all throughout the week, because there are some clients that would, like some BPOs done on Sunday, then you definitely make more. I'm just talking about at least $10. You can, some are
Per
getting
BPO.
more than $10 per BPO.
Because let's just say, for example, per BPO it's $10, and then
Mm.
you can finish 8 BPOs in eight
Yeah,
hours.
yeah,
So that's $80
per day.
per day
Mm.
times 20 if you're working Monday to Friday. So you do the math,
Yeah,
okay? So this is why we're talking about this today. And this is from FBA Business Consultancy or Surge Marketplace. We are the world's one-stop freelancing marketplace where companies and independent contractors can meet and find training, services, and solutions. These are our offer. We are offering freelancing courses, in-depth courses. Actually, that's where real estate virtual assistance is, the in-depth courses.
yeah.
We also have mini courses and executive premium access. So that's what we call our premium membership. Today, we're going to be talking about real estate owned. Okay, so if I'm going to say hello, and we're discussing, it's actually Coach Jay who will be discussing more of that. And then he's also going to be discussing what REO or real estate owned comparables, a little bit preview on that one, because that's needed in order for you to do BPOs or valuation.
Yeah.
So just like what we have been doing in our training, we are discussing, and then there will be a question and answer towards the end. And then after, there will be a code that will be shown to you guys. And then that code will be the basis of your feedbacking. The feedback form is valid for 5 days. And then the feedback form will be the basis of your online certification from this. So you are going to get a certificate of attendance. So that will be sent to you within 10 to 15 days. So just make sure that you signed up the form. If you did not sign up the form yet, please go ahead and do that real quick so we can send you the code and the feedback form later on for your certification. You would want to have the certification because you can use that in your portfolio,
Yeah.
especially if you want to apply for real estate virtual assistants. All right, so I'm going to give the floor to Coach Jay on this discussion.
Okay. I'm gonna try to make this very clear, but short and sweet. So if you guys want to, you can take notes or maybe just take a screenshot. That'd be easier. Okay. So what is REO? Let's see here. Okay, so REO or real estate owned, basically a property that is repossessed by the bank, a bank owned property that failed to sell at a foreclosure auction. Banks usually do not prefer holding REO properties on their books because they add to the bank's risks and they often sell them for much less than their market value. So basically, what happens here is that a person applies for a housing loan, and then let's say something happens, a divorce, a sickness, or death in the family, and now the person can't pay for the mortgage of the property. Now the bank is going to repossess the property from the guy that they lend it to, right? They're gonna take the property, which is called foreclosure, okay, for failing to pay. And then once the bank gets the property back, they usually try to let it go again and sell it because, like I mentioned earlier, banks would prefer letting go of the properties because they sell them at a much lesser price too. Just because holding on to REO properties on their books can add to the risk of their um, what do you call that thing? Their financing availability to other people that wants to apply for financing or whatever investment that may be. It could be a house, a business, or anything like that. So once they foreclose a house, they want to get a appraisal on the property so they know how much they can sell the house for, and then they go ahead and sell it. Okay. So, just a little bit about REO comparables. We're not really going to go in depth into this because I want to make a different, I want to give this a different time because this is kind of tedious and you need a really good grasp of understanding about this because if not, if you fail this one, if you fail to understand the comparables, all of the BPO appraisal that you're going to do in the future will also fail. It's just going to end in a disaster. But to give you an idea, comparables, these are needed to be able to have a valid opinion, quote unquote, in selling the property. So basically, what it is are three sold properties that have been sold within the 3 to 6 month period, and three active properties. What does that mean? Active properties are properties that are currently in the market, but they cannot be older. They cannot be in the market for more than 3 months. Okay, so you need three sold properties that have been sold that were within 3 to 6 months, and then three active properties that are in the market for at least 3 months. Why do you need those? Those are the properties that you're going to compare, hence the word comparables. Those are the properties that you're going to need to compare to the subject that you are appraising. So, with the three sold properties and the three active properties, you are going to compare them all to your subject to come up with your broker price opinion. Okay, but we'll talk more about that on a different time. But same or almost same with, oh, okay, the comparable that you're taking, the three sold and the three properties, I mean active properties that you're going to take as comparables to the subject, keep in mind that they should be similar to the subject. Same same room counts, same square footage, same amenities, same age, okay? And if possible, within the same neighborhood. Now, granted, it's impossible to find properties that are exactly the same, but the closest that you can be to the subject as far as amenities, style, type of build, location. Those are the best properties that you can use as comparables to the subject. And when you're finding comparables on the multiple listing service, you are allowed to go as far as 5 mile radius to find these kinds of comparables. Now, there are special situations where you have to go farther than 5 mile, but for the most part, it is just within the 5 mile radius, because once you go out of the 5 mile radius, the prices of the houses begins to change because of the location. Okay, so take note of that. Take a screenshot of that. So when we have the class on comparables next time, you have an idea. Okay, so REVA valuations, also called as broker price opinion, as I mentioned earlier, it's an estimate of the selling price of the property that was foreclosed, that was taken back by the bank, taking into account local and regional real estate market data, neighborhood conditions, and comparable properties that are being sold or have just been sold in the area. Okay, so you think about the um, what the how big is the property compared to the comparables? How many rooms does the property have compared to the comparables? How about the neighborhood? Is the neighborhood a troubled neighborhood? Is it a quiet neighborhood? Is it a collegiate neighborhood, meaning a lot of people goes to college, they use the area for housing? Those things count when you're making evaluations. Okay, and the types of broker price opinion that you're going to be encountering when you work for a real estate agents are initial BPO, meaning the very first BPO that you do on the property. A drive-by BPO, meaning you can only drive by the house and take photos and assess the house based on just driving by, looking at the house from afar, because maybe the tenants that are living there are very irate. Sometimes they pull a gun on you. Sometimes they let their dog chase you. So you can only do a drive by and guess what's happening inside, guess how many rooms it has. And then after that, when it's still not sold, you make an updated BPO. You basically update all the information that you had before on that property. And then once it's all done, you do the monthly marketing research, or MMR. Okay, so you basically list down what was done to the property, any cosmetic works, any repair, any all of that stuff. Okay, so here's how you can do a BPO. I'll show you. Um, okay, can you see my screen? Okay, I'm gonna do this so it's clearer. Is that seen? Okay, we'll start from the very top. Okay, so this is how a broker price opinion sheet look like. Let's take this out. All right. So these information here, I just put them in earlier because we're gonna focus on one thing today. We're gonna focus on the adjustments because this is for the previous batches of students. This is where they usually kind of mess up, and so we're gonna do that. Huh. Let me fix this real quick. Okay. Okay. So starting from the very top, REO number. You see this? Okay. So the REO number will be given to you by your client. He's going to let you know what REO number this is. And let's say, okay, hey, Jay, do this BPO for me. REO number is 1234. So you input 1234. We are right now doing an initial BPO, the very first BPO that we're doing on a property, the date, and then the property address. So basically, the very first part is just information about the house and the neighborhood. Okay. So the property address is 475 North Plain in Charlotte, North Carolina, 662-587. Your firm name, the name of your company, Home Takers Realty. That's a that's a rude name, right? Home Takers. And then your phone number. This is your company phone number, not yours in the Philippines. Okay. And then the sales representative, which is your real estate agent. Let's say his name is John Doe. Client name, this could be the owner of the house or the name of the bank. Okay, if it's the owner of the house, you name the owner of the house. If the name of the bank, then you put, let's say, Bank of America or Fannie Mae or what other banks of in America is there. Okay, and then this completed by is your name, who created, who did the BPO form. Okay, if you have a fax number, you can put it in there. Okay, so let's go to the general market condition. What is this? So this is basically giving you the bank an idea of what the market is in the area. Okay. So current market condition, I put stable right here. We could put actually slow because of the pandemic. Everything is slow. Every business, everything is slow, and selling or purchasing is slow. I could have put slow here, but for this evaluation, let's just say stable. Let's say the selling and buying of properties in the area is stable right now. Okay, employment condition is increasing. Okay, let's say I said that because I knew that in that area in Charlotte, North Carolina, there's a mall that's about to open and they're hiring people. Okay. But if you see by research that the employment, I mean, the area has really nothing going on, then you can just say maybe stable. But if you see that the area is really declining and the neighborhood is really bad, there's a lot of boarded houses, then you can put declining. Okay, employment conditions and declining. This will give the bank an idea of, okay, well, maybe because of the general market conditions, that why you came up with that kind of price for the property. Okay, market price for this type of property has decreased in the 5% in the past 12 months. Why did I say that? I said that again because of the pandemic. Okay, when you're doing a BPO, you're not just thinking about the house. You're thinking about what's happening all over the place, right? The um, the market, what's happening in the market, the what happened to my BPO form. What happening in the market? What's happening in the global market? What's happening, in the area? You got to think about all these things when you think about a BPO. Okay, so I said decreasing about 5% in the last 12 months. I could have said 24 months for 2 years, the pandemic. Okay, but if everything's well, the market is great, currency is great, stock market is increasing, then you can say increased however many percent in the past 12 months. Okay, general information about the market. Next to that is the estimated percentage of owner versus tenants in the neighborhood. What does that mean? It means how many houses are owned and how many houses are tenant or rented by other people. So I said 70% of the houses are owner occupied and only 30% are rented. Why? Because I feel like in that area, most of the people actually buy houses, not just rent them. So, there will be 70% of owner occupant, um, and 30% rented. This information, actually, you can find this in the tax information of the subject. Um, it will be all listed there, including the market price of this type of property. All of that stuff will be there. Okay. Now, this one here, approximate number of comparable units for sale in the neighborhood, number of competing listing of neighborhood that are REO or corporate owned. These two you can find when you're doing multiple listing service and looking for comparables on the property. Remember comparables? Three sold, three actives. So approximate number of comparable units for sale in the neighborhood. This is basically means how many properties are currently for sale in the neighborhood right now that you found on the multiple listing service. When I did it earlier, I found 24. So there are 24 properties that are currently for sale and is in multiple listing service right now. It also says there that there are, out of those 24 properties that are for sale, seven of those are real estate owned property or foreclosed property. Okay. These two, you will find this when you're looking for comparables. Number of boarded or blocked homes, meaning houses that have boards on their windows, they blocked it, they closed it down. I put zero because, as you can see, 475 North Plains, Charlotte is a good neighborhood, so there's no need for boarding a house because there's not going to be any squatters or invading houses there. So zero. Okay. Let's go to section number 2, subject marketability. Range of values in neighborhood is okay. Range of values in neighborhood means how much are the prices of the properties that are for sale in the area. Okay. So I looked at it and it's between $180,000 to $650,000. It's between these two numbers. Okay. And then the subject is on appropriate improvement to the neighborhood because it's just appropriate. It's not too over improved. It's not under improved. There's not too many things done to it. It's kept at par with other properties in the area, so it's appropriate improvement for the neighborhood. Normal marketing time in this area. What that means is that if a property goes for sale and it goes to the market, how many days does it usually stay on the market? It's 60 days. Okay. Are all types of financing available for the property? Meaning, can the property be done through bank financing, through private financing, through other sources of loan financing? I said yes. Most of the time, it's always yes because it's a business. If they finance a property, they make money off of you. While you're paying the financing, and if you fail to pay, they take the property again. That's again foreclosed. Okay. Has the property been on the market in the last 12 months? No, this is the first time it's being sold. That's why we are doing an initial BPO. Okay. Okay, so to the best of your knowledge, why did it not sell? We don't have to answer this because this is the first time that the property is being sold. Okay. The unit type or the type of the property that we're dealing with right now is a single family detached. Okay. And then let's look at this here. The fees includes insurance, landscape, pool, tennis. Why does it have fees like this? Because the subdivision has amenities. Like, have you been to a higher end subdivision in the Philippines where they have tennis court, pool, they have insurance for the houses? Homeowners has to pay for that monthly. Okay. And then there's also other payment like neighborhood watch. You pay the people that watches the subdivision at night or during the day. Association contact name or your homeowners association. It's North Plain Homeowners Association. This you will also find this in excuse me, the tax record or multiple listing service. Okay, now to the important part of the BPO. First section that you're going to see for appraisal is the competitive closed sales. Okay, excuse me. Competitive closed sales meaning properties that are currently that have been already sold in the last 3 to 6 months. The very first part here, you see this subject is the information about the subject property, 475 North Plain. They're trying to sell it for 217,000. Price or gross per living area. I'll show you how that is done later, but it's 180 per square footage. Sale date, it's been on the market since May 14, so it's 30 days. Sales or financing concession, I'll show you that later. Basically, all of this information is about the subject. Okay, it's a single family residential detached. Quality of construction is average. Um, and then you have 35 years of age on the property. And then let's see, the total room is six, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and then 1,200 square footage. No basement, no finished rooms below grade. Functional utilities, yes, all of the utilities are functioning. Heating and cooling, HVAC. What is that? It's heating, ventilation, air condition. Okay. Are the items in the property energy efficient? Yes, especially at this time. Does it have a garage? Yes, 2 car attached. For amenities, it has fireplace, deck, and porch. Also has a fenced backyard, and then that's it. Next to that, to the right, you can see comparable number one. Okay, so it's 246 North Plain. It's within 5 mile radius as proximity to the subject, 5 mile radius, and it is a real estate owned property right there. It's being sold for 209,000. I did not put in the square footage. What do you call it? The price per square footage, because I want to show you how to calculate that. It's been there for 12 days. Location is urban. It's an urban subdivision. Single family, 40 years old. Looking at the important parts here. It's got 5 rooms, 3 bedrooms, and 2 baths, but bigger square footage, 1,600 square feet. Okay, 2 car garage, 2 car attached garage, only has a fireplace, no fenced backyard. Next is 672 North Plain, still 5 mile radius. It's not REO. Selling price is 212,000. It's been on the market. It's been on the market for 26 days, and then it got sold, but it's through financing. Okay, you're gonna see all the differences later. It's still single family detached, 35 years old, 6 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, and it's also bigger square footage, 1,550. It's got a full basement, HVAC, energy efficient, 1 carport. Okay, so you're seeing the difference now. The subject has 2 car garage attached. This only has 1 carport. The square footage of the subject is 1,200. This one has 1,500. Okay, it also has a fenced backyard. And then comparable number three, remember these are sold comparables, okay? 8786 Power Stone, 5 mile radius distance, not REO. It's sold for 240,000. Okay, single family, 35 years old. The construction quality is great. It's got a lot of rooms. It's got 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 1,800 square footage, bigger. 2 car garage attached. It's got porch and patio, fenced backyard. Okay, now look at this. This is what I meant earlier about comparing all of these. Some of the students in the past did really good with putting in the information of the subject, putting in the information of the comparable, but they did a terrible job with the adjustment. You see this part here, it says adjustment, oh, right there. Okay, so that's what I want to show you right now. Okay, First, let's start with the price per square footage. What is that? This is basically how much you're paying per square footage. Okay. You're going to calculate it with the price, meaning the $209,000 divided by the square footage of the property. So where's the calculator here? Let's this one. Okay. So let's take $209,000 divided by what's the square footage? 1,600. So you get $130. So you are paying, let's see, you're paying $130 per square footage on this one. That makes sense? So again, it's the price and divided by the square footage. Okay. For this one, 212,000 divided by 1,550 square footage, you get $136 per square footage. Oh, $136 per square. That's making sense? Per square footage. Oops. Okay. Maybe I'll do this in red so you can see it. Nope. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. All right. Now let's check the other one. 240,000 divided by what's the square footage? 1,800. 1,800. You get, oh wait, 240,000, 1,800. So you get $133 per square footage. See? That makes sense to you? So to calculate for the price or gross living area is the price of the property divided by the square footage of the property. Okay? Okay, now let's go down to here. Sales or financing concession. What does that mean? Okay, you might want to take note of this. Okay, sales or financing concession. Sales concession means that the seller agrees to pay part of the closing costs. And financing concession means the seller had applied for a financing company to help him with the transaction. Okay, so for sales, meaning when the bank and the owner of the house is discussing about the foreclosure of the property, the owner will agree to pay for the closing costs, meaning the attorney fee, any closing costs that you can think of. If it's financing concession, meaning the owner of the house applied for a financing company to help him pay with the closing costs. Does that make sense? Closing costs meaning the payments that you have to make to officially sell or let go of the property, the power of attorney, the change of name, and all that stuff. You have to basically pay for all that stuff. Okay, so I put here sales because the owner agreed to pay for the part of the closing costs. For this one, it's financing, so meaning the guy that owned this house applied for a financing company to help him pay. Maybe he probably doesn't have any money, and then this one did sales too. He put in his own money as well. Location basically means where is the property located? Is it in a rural area? Is it in a suburban area? Is it in an urban area? I put urban because this is a city subdivision. Okay, and obviously because the subject is in urban, all of the comparables are going to be in urban as well. Because again, the 5 mile radius, the law that we have when looking for comparables, right? Now, this one, leasehold or fee simple. Okay. Leasehold, this can get confusing, so take note. Leasehold means the person owns the house, the building, but somebody else owns the land. Okay? So basically he's only leasing the land for a certain amount of time, but he owns the house building because he spent money to build it. Okay? That's leasehold. For fee simple, that means the person owns the house and the land. In this case, all of the properties that we have here are fee simple because when they applied to the bank for a housing loan, um, the house that they decided to get um, is within that piece of lot. The lot that comes with it is also part of the deal, not somebody else owning it. So it's fee simple. They own the house, they own the lot. That's just the difference between the two. Leasehold means you own the building, but somebody else owns the lot. Fee simple means you own the house, you own the lot. Okay. Site, neighborhood. Okay. And then for the view, I put none because view only applies if you're overlooking a lake. If you're looking at a mountain, you have a view of a mountain. You have a view of the beach. That's where you apply. Let's say it's overlooking a lake, then you put lake here. But this one, you're in a neighborhood, so you don't have a view, so you put none. Design and appeal, the design and appeal. What is the design of the house? Is it a single family? Is it a what do you call it? Trailer house? Is it a condominium? So this one is single family residential detached. Okay, all of them are the same. Quality of construction, average and great. Age 35, the other is 40, 35, 35, and then the condition is average. The last one is great. Okay, I'm just explaining all of this for now, and then we'll do the adjustments. Okay, you saw I already explained the number of beds and all this stuff. Now let's go to adjustments. Okay, now for the adjustments, it's very important that every single thing that you see that is different between the subject and the comparable, you need to make an adjustment for it. That way, when you come up with your suggested price on the subject, the bank will not say, how did you come up with this price when you don't have any adjustments, right? Okay, so how do you do that? Let's do this. Okay, you see right here, average quality construction, the same. So we don't have to have adjustment on that. But when we get to here, the subject says average quality of construction. Comparable number two says great quality of construction, meaning comparable number two is better than the subject. So if comparable number two is better than the subject, you're gonna you're gonna add um, what do you call it an amount to the comparable. I will say I'm gonna add $2,000 to this, okay? Because it's better than the subject on quality of construction. Average is definitely lesser than great. Same thing on comparable number three. It says great quality of construction. So I'm going to put $2,000 on here too. You see that? Okay. There's average for the subject and then average for comparable number one. So I don't make an adjustment. There's nothing different there. But on comparable two and three, it says they're great. They look great. It's in great shape. So that means comparable number two and three, as they are priced at 212,000, they should add $2,000 to the price because it's in great condition. Okay. For the age, it says here that the subject is 35 years old. Okay. Comparable number two or one is 40 years old. It's older. So I'm going to deduct um, for comparable number one, I will take $1,000 off of it because it's 5 years older than the subject. Oh, I'll put um, I'm going to put minus $1,000. So instead of selling it for 209,000, you should deduct 1,000 from that because it's 40 years old. It's 5 years older than the subject. It should only be $204,000. Okay. Comparable number two and three, they're the same age with the subject, so no adjustment there. Now for the room counts, total room for subject is 6. It's got 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Total room for subject comparable number one is 5. It's got 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Then I'm going to deduct another for the comparable number one because it only has 5 total rooms. So I'll take $1,000 off of that again. Okay. Comparable number two has the same 6 total rooms, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, so no deduction, no adjustments. But comparable number three, look at this. It's got 8 bedrooms, 8 rooms, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. That's way more than the subject. So I'm going to add about $3,000 onto this because it has 5 bedrooms, whereas the subject only has 3. It's got 3 bathrooms. So, this should be sold for $3,000 more. Next is the square footage. Subject has 1,200 square footage. Comparable one has 1,600. So I'm going to add to the price of the comparable one, I'm going to add $2,000. Okay? Because it's bigger than the subject. Same with comparable number two, it's bigger than the subject. So I'm also going to add $2,000 here. Comparable number three is way bigger than the subject. 1,200 versus 1,800. I'm going to add $3,000 to that. Okay, do you see the process now? Any difference that I see between the subject and the comparable, I make an adjustment for it. Okay? Okay, so the subject has no basement, comparable one has none, but comparable two has full basement. So I'm going to add $800 to this for the price of full basement. Okay? Comparable three has nothing. Okay, functional utility, they're all yes, the same. Heating and cooling, HVAC, all the same. Energy efficient, yes, 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 all the same. Garage, 2 car attached, 2 car attached. Comparable to only has 1 carport. So I'm going to deduct here. It doesn't have a garage, it has a carport. A carport is different. Okay, it's like just having a roof over your car, not a full garage. So I'm gonna deduct, let's say 1,500. Okay. Okay, for the amenities, the subject has a fireplace, a deck, and a porch. Comparable one only has a fireplace, so I'm going to deduct 1,000 here because it doesn't have a deck and a porch. Comparable number two only has a deck. I'm also going to deduct 1,000. Okay. Are you seeing this? I hope you're seeing this. Comparable three has porch and patio, so it still doesn't have a fireplace. It's not the same as the subject where it has a fireplace, so I'll put minus 500 there. Okay. Great. Now, the subject has a fenced backyard. This one has none, so deduct 500 here. Okay. It's got fenced backyard, comparable 2. Comparable 3 has fenced backyard. That's it. Okay, now, look at here. It says net adjustment. So now you're going to calculate all of this. Okay, for comparable number 1, Um, we deducted 1,000 plus another 1,000 plus another 1,000 plus another 500. So that's 3,500 deduction on the property. But we also added 2,000 to it. So let's minus 2,000. So 1,500. So we are going to put negative here. Let's see. Negative. How much was it? 1,500. Okay, is this making sense to you all? Okay, can be a little confusing, but it's okay. If you enroll to the class, this will be explained and you'll understand it. Now, so let's see. 209,000, the price of the comparable is 209,000 minus 1,500. It should be sold at 207,500. Okay. Fine.
It should be 201, 2,500.
Yeah, so 1,000 plus 1,000 plus one, there's 3,500 deduction, but we added 2,000. Okay, so instead of selling it for $209,000, we should only sell it for 205. Is it right? 205? No, 207,500. Sorry, 207,500. Okay, does that make sense? Anybody have any concern there? Okay, let's look at comparable number two. For comparable number two, we added 2,000 plus another 2,000 for the square footage, plus another 800 for the full basement, plus another 1,500 for the one deducted. This one's deduction. Okay, so let's do that again. Hang on. Where's my calculator? There we go. Okay, so we added 2,000. Wait, plus 2,000 plus 800, a total of 4,800. But we deducted 1,500 for the carport, deducted 1,000 for the deck or the missing amenities. So you get 2,300. So for this one, I'm putting, we are adding to the price, right? You see that? Because you are adding to the price because we have more addition than deduction, okay? See that? That's 4,800 addition compared to only 2,500 deduction. So, and we came up with 2,300. Okay. So, instead of selling it for 212, we should add 212. We should add 2,300 to the price. It should be sold for 214,300. Making sense? 214,300. 300. This was 2,300 here. Okay. All right. Last one for this section. For comparable number three, we added 2,000. And then for that's for the quality of construction. Then we added 3,000 for the number of rooms. We added another 3,000 for the square footage, but we deducted 500 for amenities. 7,500. This should have an additional. Why is it additional again? Because we added more than we deducted. Okay? We added more than we deducted to the price. We should add 7,500 to the price. 7,500. So now, instead of selling it for 240,000, you add 7,500. You should sell it for 247,500. Where did that go? 247 and 500. There, here we go. So we're done with the first section, the closed sales. Is that making sense so far? Anybody? Do we take questions or we keep going? Okay, we keep going. Down here is where you will see another section called the marketing strategy. How are we going to sell this property? Are we going to sell the property as is or with minimal lender required repairs? Completely repaired, most likely. What is your buyer? Is it going to be owner occupant or investor? Okay. Now, for the most part, banks want to sell completely repaired. So I put repaired here because they want to get top dollar for the house from the house. So they're gonna repair it, fix it, so they can sell it at a higher price. Now earlier, remember I mentioned there's percentage between homeowners and renters. Let me show you here. Here, estimated percentage of owners versus tenants. It's 70% owner, 30% tenants. So here, down here, you will show most likely your buyer will be owners. They're not going to be investors. They're not going to be renters. They're going to be owners because in the area is 70% owner occupied. Okay, meaning the people that buys properties there ends up living there. They're not buying it to be rented by other people. They're not buying it as an investment. They're not renting. They're going to buy it to live in it. Okay. Now, I said where banks wants to be selling the property as completely repaired. What are those repairs? Well, basing on the photos that your client will show you about the subject, you can look at the photos and show and see what repairs needs to be done. Looking at the subject, I felt like, okay, the subject needs cosmetics or paint outside, make it look nice. The lawn care, the lawn needs to be cleaned and the grass needs to be cut. The wallpaper on some of the rooms needs to be removed and replaced. And then, of course, before having people move in, when they buy it, you need to get the exterminator service. Okay. So, how much does it cost? Cosmetics, let's just say cosmetics and paint will cost you about $1,000. Okay, because it's the whole house. Lawn care, roughly 700 if it's a 1200 square footage property. Okay. Wallpaper removal, I would say 500. Okay, you're hiring Mexicans and other Hispanic people to remove it and maybe repaint it. And then, of course, exterminator service, which I'm sure is only about 350 to just to get all of the cockroaches and all that stuff out of the house. Okay. So overall, the grand total of the expenses. Okay, let's calculate 1,000 plus 700 plus 500 plus 350. 2,550. Again, this is later on when you're coming up with the price. This is very important. It's going to show why you came up with the price. What was it? 2,550. All right. Great. So now down here is for the competitive listing properties. These are properties that are currently on the market. Same. You have the subject on the far left, comparable 1 on the first column, comparable 2, comparable 3. Let's go ahead and do the adjustments. Okay. Okay. Right off the bat, we see here that the subject is 35 years old, but the comparable one is only 20 years old. It's fairly new. So we are going to, where did that go? We're going to add to the price of $1,000. It's about 15 years younger. Comparable to is 5 years younger. So let's say add 1,000 here. Okay, making sense so far. Now, condition, it says average for the subject, average comparable 1, but comparable to is fair condition, meaning it needs work. So I'm going to deduct here. It needs work will probably be around $1,000 too. But look at this. Comparable number 3 says excellent. There is nothing that needs to be done on the property. Everything is pristine. So we are going to add 1,000 there. Okay. Now, let's look at room counts. Subject has 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. Comparable has 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. So in a way, you kind of look at it, it's balanced, right? So 3, 3, 4, 2. So we can't really adjust on that because 3 and 3 is 6, 4 and 2 is 6. But comparable number 2 has 4 bedrooms and 3.5 bath. What does that mean? 3.5 meaning it's got 3 full bathrooms plus 5 powder plus like a one powder room. Okay, 3.5. So 3 full bathrooms and 1 powder room. So this one definitely needs to go up in price. I'll put 2,000 here. And then comparable number 3 has 3 bedrooms, okay, same as the subject, but only has 2.5 baths. That means 2 full bath and a half bath. So we're gonna have to deduct about 1,500 here. Okay. No basement, no basement. Comparable number 2 has basement. So I'm going to add 1,000 here. Oh, we missed. Square footage for the subject is 1,200. Comparable one has 1,600. It's bigger. So let's add, make this 2,000. Okay. Comparable 2 is definitely a lot bigger. So we're going to put 3,000 on this one. And comparable 3 is much smaller at 990. So we're going to deduct. I'll take. Okay. Okay, all the same. Look at this. Heating and cooling, subject has HVAC, comparable has HVAC. This one, comparable number 2, only has AC, no heating and ventilation, only air conditioning. So we're going to deduct 1,000 here. Okay. And then comparable 3 has HVAC too. All of them has energy efficient items. 2-car garage attached, yes, yes. But comparable 3 doesn't have a garage, only road parking. They park on the road. So this is going to be a big deduction on the price. I'll take 3,000 off of this because garage is expensive. It's almost the price of a house. Okay, subject has fireplace, deck, and porch. Comparable to only has 2, so we'll deduct that. Okay. This one, comparable number 2, has a pool. It has a pool. Okay. That's a little pricey. Let's put 3,000 here. And then comparable number 3, because it's small, so it only has a porch. So we will deduct 1,000 here. Okay. Fence, backyard, all of them. Okay. Now let's calculate that. For comparable number 1, we added 1,000 plus 2,000 for the square footage. but we also deducted 1,000. So we get 2,000. But we did more addition than subtraction, so we're going to use addition. Put it here, add. So we are suggesting, basically what we're doing is that we're suggesting that the price should be added $2,000. Okay, so instead of selling the property for 210,000, it should be sold for 212. There we go. Okay. Comparable number 2, we're almost done here. We added 1,000 plus 2,000 for the room count, plus 3,000 for the square footage, plus 1,000 for the basement, plus 3,000 for extra amenity or the pool. That's 10,000, 10 grand of addition. But we deducted around 2,000. Let's see. Yeah, we deducted 2,000 here. So 8,000. So we're going to say the price should be added 8,000. Okay. So instead of selling the property, oh, it doesn't have a sale price. Let's just say we sell it for 210, all of it. 210 here. Okay. So instead of selling it for 210, we should sell it for 218,000. Great. Last one. For the last one, we added 1,000 to it. Okay, but we deducted 1,500. We deducted 2,000. We deducted 3,000 for road parking. We also deducted 1,000 for porch, only porch. So 7,500. So we're going to say, because we did more subtraction, we did more deduction, you put minus here, minus 7,500. Okay, so instead of selling the property at 210,000, you should minus 7,500 to the price, because it's not as close to the subject. 202,500. There we go. We're done with the most important part of the BPO. Okay, so let's take a good look at this. Adjusted. Okay, great. Reviewing it. Okay, the lawn care is 2,550. Okay, adjustments here. Great. Now the question is, how much would I sell the property as is? Market value and suggested price. Looking at the prices here, this one's 207, 214, 247, 212, 218, and 202. I'm seeing a trend that would be around, I would say, as is market value, I would put it at around $220,000. Okay, so I'll put it here. Now, this is Your judgment call, okay? This is nobody's gonna give this to you. You're gonna have to make this decision. $220,000 as is market value. But my suggested list price will be at 240,000. Why? Because when sellers come, they will ask if we can lower the price. So I would suggest to put it on the market for 240,000 as is. If we're not doing the repairs here, okay, if we're not doing that, we're selling it as is. Put it on the market for 240,000, because when you talk to the buyer, they're going to say, hey, can we do $230,000 on that? Then you still have 10,000 more than what it should be. Okay. But if we're doing the repair, we're adding 2,550 to the price. So this one should be 222,500. 500. This one should be 242,500. Okay, great. Now we have our prices. Again, I came up with this number based on the adjustments that I made here. That is why it's important to make adjustments on every single thing that you see that is different between the subject and the comparable. That way, when you come up with the pricing, you can justify it. Okay? And then now you're going to include your comment here, which I will say, basing on this comment will be based on the photos that you see, based on the market trend. So the house is in average condition. The area is peaceful with low crime rate and close to shopping malls, schools, and public transportations. Transportation. Suggested price is based on the adjustments made on the property with the comparables. There. Any comment that you can think of that will make it clear why you came up with that. Okay. Put that here. Then of course signature and your date. That's it. You're done. It's long, it's confusing, but the more that you do it, you get better at it, and then you can actually do it in your sleep. Okay, Coach Grace?
So we're doing the question and answer. I know earlier we already have a few questions here. Here you go. So Coach Jay, there are questions here. Let me just go
Okay.
ahead and discuss that. Okay. So thank you so much. I know that it was a really long one. That's why we ensure that you guys are really going to get a lot of value from this one because this is certified. Okay, so you're going to get a lot of tips as well. If
Yeah.
it's a little bit confusing, it's okay. It's just like SEO. Before it might be overwhelming, but the moment you get the hang of it, it's actually very doable, and you
Yes.
can just go on. Okay, so I believe most of the questions here are like this. Okay, so um, like for example this one, Coach Jay, for
Okay.
the amount to be placed in the adjustment column, will there be fixed parameters or guidelines on this range on the amount to be placed there? So I know, like
Mm.
you were mentioning, for this one, because they have a pool,
Mm.
2000,
Yeah.
something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you have to understand that for every state, prices vary. Okay, so when you start working and do BPOs, ask your client, hey, how much does a porch cost in your area? How much does a pool cost? Or if you can also Google it. How much is a pool in California? How much is a deck? How much is it to build a deck in California? Because every state it's a different pricing.
Yeah. So I know probably when we started, we really asked the
Yeah.
client to give
Yeah.
us a list,
Yeah.
like if there's a pool,
How much should be the
yeah,
adjustments?
how much should be the adjustment. So you can start with that, and then later on, the more you're doing this, the more you're going to identify neighborhoods. Like for example, if a pool is added in LA
Oh yeah.
compared to a pool in North Carolina, it's going to be more expensive in LA.
Yeah.
So you will become more familiar with the states, with the
Yeah.
standard of living. But
True.
probably for the first few months, you're going to go ahead and um, be guided by your very own client.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask your client for a list. They're gonna give you the list of pricing.
Okay. So I think I showed some of the questions as well here, how to deduct, and I think that's what we just asked
The
earlier.
numbers that I gave you, those are just numbers that I know are about in California because it's expensive there. But for states like Pennsylvania, Alaska, those are cheaper states, you know. So
We have here a question also from Arnell. Arnell is saying, what are the tools by clients in BPO? So you
what do
were
you
to
mean tools like BPO form or
probably. So
okay? So
there was a question also in regards to that, Coach Jay, like where are they getting the form?
so for BPO forms, your clients are gonna give you um, logins, accounts for each bank because you're gonna do it in a bank website, Fannie Mae, Bank of America. So they're gonna give you their logins to all those banks, and then that's where you will do the BPO.
So each bank, you're going to, of course, have the like for example, if we're doing this for BPI or
Yes.
BPO or Metro Bank, they have foreclosed houses. Like for example, we bought a house, we're not able to pay the whole thing. It will be what's that in
Foreclosed,
foreclosed or
repossessed.
repossessed
It's
for
it's like this. Think about motor trade. You go to motor trade, you put a down payment for a motorcycle, right? And then you fail to pay for the monthly payment. Motor trade is gonna take that motorcycle back. Same with the house.
but they don't know how to sell it. For
They
others, for motor trade, they can resell it. But for banks with
they don't know.
houses, they don't know. They need a broker
Yeah.
to resell it, to
Yes.
resell the property. And the brokers need you for some reason the audio is gone. So probably it's the
Let me check.
internet.
Let me check. Let's see. Here we go. There we go.
Hello, can you hear us? Okay,
There you go.
there. So I think it shifted from the this one right here to the no, to this one. All right. So in answer to the question earlier, you can get training from us. Of course, we're gonna give you that as a gift. And when it comes to applications, I think I mentioned it earlier, and just in case you missed that, um, you can consider freelancing websites, like for
Mhm.
example, Upwork, Online Jobs, Surge, or also Reva agencies
Yeah.
like Reva Global, My Outdesk. Okay,
Mhm.
those are others, or Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can consider that. And then before we're going to end, we would like to thank Coach Jay for joining us. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Maybe you'd like to share what's good with being a Reva, with being a real estate virtual assistant.
Um, I would say this. The good thing about it is that when you buy a house in the Philippines, they can't fool you. Like they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's a high-end house. Look at this, sir. It's 18 million." And then you look at it, tap on it. It's not 18 million, man. That's cheap. That's cheap materials. Nobody can fool you because real estate, your job, because you know what materials are. And then the second part is that if you get a really good client, they pay you by the hour, plus they
Plus
pay you
commission.
commission. That's what happened to me before. So it's really good money working for real estate virtual assistants.
So I hope that you consider that, and I hope that you learn from this real estate virtual assistant valuation. So Coach Jay was able to show us in detail and in quality how are you going to evaluate and price a property based on the three listed properties. That means it's currently on sale, and based on three sold properties, that means also that it has been sold. So based on those pricing with the adjustments, you can price a property in the US even if you're here in the
Yeah.
Philippines. And just like any other freelancing niche, it may take some time to adjust to it, but I hope that this training right here has given you a good lesson and a good start up in becoming a real estate virtual assistant, especially in BPOs or property evaluation.
Yeah.
This is our code right here. Okay, so we're gonna be sending our feedback form in a few minutes or probably first thing tomorrow. And then it will ask you for a training code. So please use this training code Surge in Reva. We want you to be surging as real estate virtual assistant. Surge means an upward and forward movement. So you can really enjoy the quality of life and improve the quality of life for you and your family. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have other questions, please feel free to let us know and connect with us. We are here to help you guys. That would be all for today. Thank you very much, Coach Jay, and thank you, everybody. Bye, and God bless
God
you.
bless y'all.